The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the show. Brought to you by Levi Solicitors. 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. Dan, Michael and Moscow with you on YouTube and audio as well. The weekly show where we wrap up everything that's going on in the world of Leeds. Tough at the minute, isn't it? Before we get round to all that, quick mention of TSB Plus as well. This week for our members, we've got a Tony DeRigo two-parter over on the Extra Ball where we reminisce about the joys of 1991, 1992. So if you can't stand the present day, that's the place to head.
It's definitely the best way. I was watching old episodes of Top of the Pops the other night as a way of escaping Everton's win.
Excellent. And we've got a new show as well out for members. Propaganda Extra, more of the stuff that you love from that show as well. And this week, featuring a splendid clip from a motivational speaker, very much like Jake Humphrey, two peas in a pod, you would imagine, the two of them. So
high performance people.
Yeah, great. Upping your Elvis. That is over on the Extra Ball feed. Have a look at that. If you want details on that, have a look at thesquareball.net/plus. Part one is the news then, and Stuart Dallas has a fractured femur, which we were talking about shattered kneecaps on the match ball, weren't we? About how that sounded bad. This sounds mega bad.
I actually watched this back because I didn't properly know what had happened. It doesn't look all that bad, does it, weirdly? Like, it feels like you see worse things in games, but you can tell.
Do you think he's made a meal of it?
It's just awful to watch because he's obviously in a huge amount of pain. There's a bit where Phillips comes over to him and he kind of almost like holds his hand for a little bit of it. It's quite touching. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, you knew. I mean, joking apart, that you knew, didn't you, when he's pounding the turf like he was just calling to the bench. Come and see me. I was like, oh, this is still no good.
I always remember that with when Alan Smith broke his leg, and the first person to him was the referee, and he was sitting there and he kind of put his hand up and started like as if he was clambering up to hold on to a parent or something. Obviously, I wasn't quite as sympathetic as I was about Stuart Dallas, because I'm a terrible human.
He's going to be a miss though, isn't he? Because he's played basically all of our Premier League games since we came back up, and we're a bit light on bodies at the minute.
And he was basically the backup plan for any position that needed filling, wasn't he? So yeah, and based on Junior Firpo's left back appearance, maybe would have liked him there as well for some games. But yeah, he's going to be a huge miss, and he's the number of games he started for us recently, and just his place within other Leeds United modern greats as well, like
266 appearances.
Nigel Martin and Lucas is in that kind of a ballpark, just past Lee Bowyer's appearances for us on the weekend. So yeah, just get well soon for him. I suppose it's going to be a very long time, you would imagine, until we see him again.
Yeah, honestly, get well soon. It looked bloody horrible, didn't it? And he's just an all-round good egg, is Dallas, isn't he? Of all the players you could take a dislike to in the squad, you could find reasons if you wanted to carve one out for just about any of them. Stuart Dallas, I don't think I could.
We're trying to think of one now, aren't we? What has Stuart Dallas ever done to upset me? Nothing, really. He's fine, isn't he?
Exactly.
Just, and it's with Liam Cooper being injured as well. We're kind of running short on experience for the running as well.
The whole thing this weekend has just felt like everything has gone wrong. Unbreakable Stuart Dallas, Cooper, who has been our best player since returning, all the other results going against us. It's not been very much fun.
From adversity.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, that's the one completely counterintuitive thing that you hang on to. It's like, well, maybe from here, this is where this is the redemption story of Leeds United this season, is that against all odds we managed to claw it back.
Do it for Stewie.
We just limply go down.
Yeah, could be either. I hope it's the former rather than the latter, but here we are. And Cooper, I think Cooper's going to be a miss as well, because we've obviously looked a lot steadier at the back since he's been in, but
he might be all right. It may have just been that game, and
have we had any more on it? No,
just said he felt weird. He had a weird feeling in his knee, said Jesse, and so he didn't play, but he went and sat on the bench instead. But then it was noticeable that when Dallas was injured, but Llorente was never warming up. It was Charlie Creswell was out getting ready. But I think, we've said Charlie's got the confidence that I wouldn't mind him playing in the rest of the games. And then trying to think of who can play right back. Jamie Shackleton just come fit, and I think he could fit in this team quite well. So from a footballing point of view, you hope we'll be okay. And then, and also so that Stuart Dallas can then just concentrate on getting his leg better without worrying about who's going to play right back.
And from a terrible weekend, it seems like just the perfect time to launch some crypto assets. So
for charity, you uncharitable sod.
Why do you hate the people of Ukraine, Dan?
As demonstrated by our when we sold those fungible T-shirts, you get a real life T-shirt in exchange for handing over some of your money. We've given all the profits of that to Ukraine charities, UNICEF.
The F off Bob T-shirts, you mean?
Yeah, this is right. Yeah, so. Just to say, if you missed this one, we raised, thanks to you, over 4,100 quid, which I think we can be proud of. The NFTs, I'm not so sure about. Do you know what it feels like to me? Because I'm feeling quite nihilistic about Leeds United. It feels to me like Andrea Radrizzani has probably wanted to do some NFTs for ages, and this is the way they've managed to get it through with him.
Yeah, they've gone, we'll do it for charity, and we'll chuck in some extra stuff too. Because in fairness, you get the NFT, which to my mind is utterly worthless, but you do also get some hospitality tickets and a pitchside tour and to go to a training session and stuff, and that's fungible stuff that you get as a result of the non-fungible.
They could have just done that as a prize drop.
The players had the shirts on.
Where are those shirts?
Exactly. Just give the shirts, for God's sake.
Sweat through them so badly that they're unsellable.
So what is the NFT of then? Is it a picture of
the back of the shirt?
Is it an actual picture of the actual shirt, or is it a digital mock-up?
It's a digital mock-up, and it spins around, and it's got the signature of the player on it.
Right.
Like a drawing of the signature of the player.
Because I saw the pictures that people had clipped, and it looked shit.
Yeah, it looks shit. I mean, that's the thing, is this doesn't work. I mean, leaving lots of things aside, it doesn't even work as an NFT, because that's why you need all the hospitality tickets and the pitchside tour and all that stuff to make it valuable. And then people will tell you that there are like viable use cases for NFTs in the metaverse that people want to create, where they can actually unlock things. They will do things. They'll give you access to games and experiences online that you need to have the NFT technology, so it can be managed by the blockchain. All these things will happen because it is an NFT. This is literally the worst use of them, which is just putting a picture and on the internet and selling the URL to it. There is nothing to it apart from that it offers nothing. And then the only thing it does offer, which I suppose you could say is true of actual T-shirts as well, but is resale value. Because once you take away any kind of, like, there's a certain kind of genre of like cyberpunky art around NFTs that they all have this kind of look. This doesn't have any of that, so there's none of that value, and then it doesn't have any actual utility, so there's none of that value. So the only thing you can do with it is look at it and it looks horrible, or hope it appreciates in value and sell it, and that money won't be going to Ukraine, because it's just, they will be auctioned off, that money will be donated, and then you will have your Calvin Phillips NFT, and the only reason to own it then is to, occasionally you can show it on your phone, but I mean, I can do that by just going to the website and say, look at that. So ownership is kind of,
but you won't own it, and I think you're pathetic.
And the only benefit of owning it is that it might appreciate in value, and then I can sell it and profit, and that's not what the point of raising money for charity is.
Is there a Lawrence de Bock one? He's still ours, isn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't wearing these. I mean, he could have worn it, given these are digital shirts. Maybe he put one on.
He has more use than this.
I do worry that this is the start of NFTs with Leeds, because Maker's Place, where these are being sold, is a website where these are sold.
Is this the gateway drug, Michael?
I do wonder. Is
this the wacky backy? Are you going to be on the NFT heroin soon?
I mean, I won't be buying any, as you can well imagine. It's because it's worthless, essentially, and they don't even look nice, as we've pointed out. There's really nothing to be said for them. The open training session, I could go to that. I wouldn't mind that. Going to the hospitality. Our hospitality tickets are really expensive as well. Now we're in the Premier League, so not for long. There is a value to those. Yeah, there is the hospitality tickets are for the Brighton game, which is our final Premier League game. So that's a big game to
at home to
go to as well. Yeah, final home game. So that's good. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see where this goes with it, because I feel like this is something that, with the socios stuff and the way Radrizzani seems to be.
If
he likes disrupting stuff.
If he wants to disrupt and he wants to make money off NFTs, maybe he should NFT his Adam Forshaw tweet, because that one is going to be used in evidence against him quite heavily, I feel, in the next few weeks.
I mean, we did hire January 2021. Aaron Duckmanton became our head of global content and digital strategy, and he headed up the Leeds Fury launch, and he did all the press when we launched on TikTok. So expanding into this world is kind of his domain, and before he locked his Twitter account, I don't know if he did that this weekend or before, one of his few tweets, he's not a rampant tweeter, was kind of a rocket emoji, we are all going to the moon, Elon Musk style crypto tweet. So he's a fellow with the head of global content and digital strategy at Leeds United Football Club. I know a lot of people have been going off at Chad Hurley, who seemed quite bemused because he's
Chad, but we should say, is everyone's favourite YouTube founder and also a very minority shareholder in 49ers Enterprises.
He put some money into 49ers Enterprises, who then bought part of Leeds United, and has tweeted his support for Leeds and his investment. He's now getting told he's part of the board, which he's not. He's no more part of the board than LL Cool J. But there are people hired by the people who are on the board who are responsible for doing this, and the fact that we have somebody whose job this is, I suppose from one angle it is the future, and Leeds Fury seems like that's fine for people who want to play video games against Leeds fans. Like, that's perfectly fine, and there are maybe, I don't really buy it, but possibilities for NFTs and all that kind of stuff in the future. But this is the worst example of NFT usage you can come up with.
It's the timing as well, because I was thinking about this last night. Why has this annoyed people? And I think it's about sort of context and timing, isn't it? And the content of it as well, which is pretty naff as it stands. Do you remember, I resolved on this, do you remember studying at school, and every school kid studies this, do you remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which was it's the pyramid of stuff that you need to survive and thrive in life? So at the bottom, basically, the bottom part of the pyramid is you need a roof over your head, you need food, shelter, that kind of thing. And as you get further and further up, it's to do with like aspiration and self-actualization and stuff. It feels to me like Leeds United is, to sort of transpose that into a football context. They're trying to do all the stuff at the top of the pyramid with this at the moment, when we're not very good at the football side of it.
Central midfielders at the bottom of the pyramid.
Like at the minute, we're not very good at being a football team. So I think all the stuff that goes above it is annoying people.
Yeah, I think if we win this weekend and Burnley and Everton have both lost, they kind of get away with this. Is the truth of it?
Much less annoyed. Everybody's
people
very
ready.
Like,
well, that's shit, but whatever. Whereas as it is, people are like, well, that's shit, and I'm going to tell you about it.
And we didn't have a midfielder when we've been crying out for one for 4 years or whatever it is.
But the argument will be that socios and whatever going forward will bring in money, but and so we will be able to spend that on midfielders. But I can live without midfielders.
Your socios,
honestly, I'd rather just have a club that I like.
Your socios token is worth $1.75 today, by the way.
It's all just drop.
It was at one point. It was as high as $8 by the looks of it. Oh well. I'm sure your NFT can only gain in value.
The thing to compare your Leeds token against is Chili's, the thing that the people who are running it actually own, and that's gone up. Let's have a look. That's only over the last day. Oh no, it's gone down. 3 months.
It's gone down.
If you do it to 3 months, it's gone way up, and then it's gone down, and over a year. It's almost like these things are really volatile, and you shouldn't just be idly flogging them to people without them understanding the risks or there being any kind of regulatory oversight. The website Web3 is going great. It's a really useful way of tracking all the ways that people are finding to have their money stolen from them. So when, for example,
stolen. That's a very emotive term, Moscow.
Well, yeah, the Bored Ape project, which is one that everybody knows about, they were launching a new part of the project, and some people just launched some fake sites that looked like the new project and stole NFTs valued at $6 million from people.
What were they actually worth, though?
Well, but at the moment you can sell them for $6 million. So
it's a mad old world, isn't it? Well, I was going to say one of the funniest bits was the execution of this as well, where somebody who represents the left hand in this particular example wasn't talking to the right hand, because the caption at the top of the page was "the drop," as in the moment that these things drop, but framed around a terrible weekend of relegation action. It doesn't look good, does it? I mean, and that segues us into relegation watch, so that's not gone away, has it? No, it's very here, front and centre.
Well, we're not going to worry about Norwich anymore. They're not catching us. That's good.
That's a great relief. It's a load off my mind that I don't have to worry about Norwich no more. Although little Sam Byron going back to the Championship is bad news for him.
Getting back next year.
Just on relegation watch, I mean, this has just been confirmed as we are recording. Listening to this, you will know that Everton's game with Brentford, which is the penultimate weekend, has been moved from 2:00, which is when we play Brighton, to 4:30. So at the minute we finish against Brighton, Everton will have 3 games to play.
Well, if we win some games between now and then, it's a good bit of pressure to heap on them.
Eek.
If we don't, then I'll probably just go for a walk while those games are on.
I think it's for the best, isn't it?
I'm not keen on them always knowing what they have to do. So we played before them this weekend. We're going to play before them that weekend.
Mind you, when we were on the way to getting promoted, we had to play after everybody for about 6 weeks, didn't we? So there's no nice way to do it, is there really?
Maybe play at the same time.
That's a way of doing it.
Yep, but that's not going to happen, is it? Because Sky...
It's got to be on television.
Yeah. Relegation watch, Norwich are relegated now. That come as a surprise?
Oh, I've not seen that coming for at least 9 months.
Do you think anybody's contacted their sporting director? Probably halfway up the Himalayas at the moment.
That's Leeds fan. Is it Stuart Webber?
Yeah.
Who's not asked, is he, about his job there? Not remotely. Watford are all but confirmed as well. If they drop any more points between now and the end of the season, then they're gone. Or us or Burnley need to get 1 more point each,
which is doubtful for us.
Which is more likely.
But now Watford, Notford and Warwick. They might as well stick with that.
Notford and Warwick, yeah.
The Notfords of this world who just come up and go down.
Who's put this on the sheet? Wins for Villa and Palace mean they are now totally out of it.
They are, aren't they?
I think Villa are going to be quite instrumental in it, because they play twice against, is it Burnley? Yeah, they do, don't they?
They are, but they're not going down, are they?
Do Southampton and Brentford just need to keep an eye on things?
They're fine.
They play each other on Saturday, so assuming one of them wins, Southampton after that have got Liverpool at home and then Leicester away. Brentford have got Everton away and then us at home. So a defeat for either could spell a little bit of trouble, because we're about to go on a hot streak towards the end of the season. We are.
Oh, that's good news. I'll put my feet up and relax then. I thought we were losing all the time.
Do you subscribe to the idea there might yet be twists and turns in this? Because I do. I know I'm talked over on propaganda about being at the bargaining stage of grief, but it doesn't feel like this race is run yet, even though it was a terrible, terrible weekend for us all round.
Well, we're still not in the bottom 3, are we?
No.
I know Everton have got a game in hand, but we're not there yet, and they're far from guaranteed to win it, because I'll leave Moscow to say these things.
Well, we're in better form over the last 5 games. Everton are lose, win, draw, lose, win. We're win, draw, lose. So that's better. Us, theirs is not as good. So that's good.
Is there any chance we can play Watford again?
I mean, that would help. Yeah, we need to play those teams again. But we saw... it's just really annoying. Palace draw all their games at quite low scores. So 0-0 at Palace is kind of par. So it's an expected result. And then losing 4-0 to Man City is also par. That's what you'd expect to get from them. So if we're doing kind of what everybody else does against people, then Arsenal have lost 11 games, so we can make it 12.
That's good.
But they've only drawn 3, so it's win or lose against them, isn't it? And why can't it be win?
I do suspect if we're going to pip anybody and get out of this, it might be Burnley.
Well, you do think they can't just keep winning games, can they? They're going to end up finishing like 9th if their current form continues, which would be completely wrong of them.
Because they've got Villa home, Spurs away, Villa away, and Newcastle at home. I don't think that's an easy sequence of fixtures. I know ours aren't easy. We've got a couple of really tough games in there, and both Brighton and Brentford won't be easy. But it is just do or die time, isn't it? If we don't win any of ours, then we obviously deserve to go down.
Are you going to talk us through the reassuring statistical analysis of the 538 project?
No.
Or a projection thing
I only wanted to fall back on those statistics when they favoured us.
Yep.
So
we're now in the bottom 3 according to that, with a 45% chance of relegation.
They think we will finish on 37 points. Everton 38, Burnley 38.
I must admit, I've gone through the results loads of times being pessimistic and optimistic, and whichever way I do it, there's never more than like 3 points between us, Everton and Burnley.
It's going to go to the wire, isn't it?
It's all really tight.
If there's a way that Leeds are going to do it, it's to do it in this sort of fashion, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the one of the things I cling on to.
The only thing I can sort of as a prediction over the next couple of weeks is because Everton's next 2 games are away, and they've only won 1 away all season, and it has felt like Goodison, the fortress, has been a big part in their recent form. That they've had a little run of home games, and the crowd and all that kind of stuff has got them going. Leicester away be a different thing, and it would be great if they lost to Watford away.
Which there's every chance of as well with Watford.
If they can't win away, then
with Watford down, pressure off.
Roy Hodgson's probably going to start himself in that game.
Admittedly, Watford's home wins is 2, and they were both ages ago, but
Roy Hodgson in net in sunglasses.
Weird things can happen if their pressure goes off, because Watford on the beach might be different to Crystal Palace on the beach, for example. They may all be enthused by the sight of Roy Hodgson in shorts.
We have
relaxed.
Talking about over. Project 538, like we've gone from 10% to 18% likely to go down to now 45%.
The thing is, when we were 10% likely to go down, they had us finishing on 38 points. We're now in the bottom 3, and they're predicting us on 37. So really, we've not our trajectory has not changed all that much.
So 1 point's difference.
It's not our fault, and it's not fair.
So your algorithm's bollocks.
Yes,
right. And that's the safest conclusion to draw.
And that's why Donald Trump won the election.
Yes, because they forecasted Hillary, we should say. It's the guy who runs this whole thing actually tweeted out, we're calling it for Hillary. And he was wrong. And
now you've still chosen to use his data. Well done, Dan.
Yeah. He's calling it for Burnley.
Yeah. So are we the Donald Trump in this? I think we might be. 23s have finished their season as well. They might be going down. Great.
Not yet relegated. Could be. Yeah, if Chelsea win their game.
They need 2 points, don't they, or something?
Then we are down.
I'm not sure they will.
But they play Spurs, don't they, who are decent. Spurs are 6th. And, Chelsea... Our games are all done, so there's nothing we can do now.
Look, just get it all out of the way in one go.
Double relegation, get it finished.
There's only the women who've done us proud this season, isn't it? They finished their season with a 5-1 win over Chester Street, who are second bottom. They beat Liverpool Feds, the only defeat that the Feds had this season, wasn't it? The Leeds win, which is great news. And the Feds did seal their promotion with a 6-1 win over, this can't even be a real team, United of Manchester. Not having that.
United of Manchester Football Club.
Yeah. They finished a distant 10th. Leeds are just the 19 points behind promoted Liverpool Feds. Newcastle still got a game to go but can't catch them, and played in front of 22,000. St James's Park.
Bloody hell!
It's a lot of people went to see them. The takeover, it seems the Saudi state are really promoting women's football so that everybody just concentrates on what's going on Tyneside and doesn't look at what's happening in...
Promoting women's driving much, or that's still not allowed?
Not a great deal.
How many are Alnwick Town getting after their season of 21 games, 0 wins, 2 draws so far? That's a tough watch, isn't it? We shouldn't moan really about Leeds United.
They've got 1 game left as well, according to this table. I'd be tempted if I was them just to concede the 9 and get it up to 100 goals against. You want it's something to aim for, isn't it? It's kind of achievable, and you've got to do what you can do.
I think we mentioned on this podcast before, when Swindon were in the Premier League in the mid-90s, that we relegated them. Well, they were down anyway, but on the final day they'd conceded 95 and we went there and beat them 5-0, didn't we? To round it up to 100. I remember that very well. Yes. Well, there you go. Part 1 done and dusted of the weekly show. Been a tough weekend. Let's hope that the forthcoming couple of weeks are a little bit brighter. Yeah. And we're previewing Arsenal next. Great. And we've got heroes and villains to come as well, so stick about for that.
The Square Ball Podcast.